Have you ever noticed how marketing has changed? It feels like we've gone from companies shouting at everyone with the same generic ad to them trying to have a one-on-one conversation directly with you. Well, that's exactly what's happening. Today, we're exploring that huge shift and how data is the engine making it all possible.
This isn't a new idea. Years ago, experts like Roland Rust and Rutger Oliver basically saw the writing on the wall. They knew that the old way of doing things, just, blanketing the airwaves and hoping for the best, was on its way out. This wasn't just a minor tweak. It was a prediction of a complete revolution in how businesses talk to people, and we're living right in the middle of it.
So this really sets up a tale of two completely different worlds, right? You've got the old guard, the traditional mass marketing approach, and then you have this new, super targeted, data-driven way of thinking. Let's really get into what makes them polar opposites. Okay, check this out. Traditional marketing is all about selling to huge anonymous groups. You build an image slowly, and the real action happens in a physical store. But direct marketing, it's a whole different ballgame. It's talking to specific, identifiable people. The website, the email, the app, that is the marketplace. And the goal isn't just to build a vague image, it's to get you to act right now in a way they can measure. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk more about the end of those mass ads. Then we'll get into the new direct model that's replacing them. We'll look at the database that powers everything, see what that marketing just for you really looks like, and then understand the big shift from a single sale to a lifelong relationship. Finally, we'll touch on the seamless shopping world this is all creating.
All right, let's get into the solution. This is where we see the new direct model in action. And I want you to think of this as more than just a new tactic. It's a complete revolution in how companies connect with us, all built on the idea of laser-like precision. And here's the official definition. But let's make it simple. It's a process, right? It's driven by a database, which means it's not random. The most important words here are interactive, targeted, and measurable. It means there's a back and forth, it's aimed at specific people, and you can actually see if it's working or not.
I love this quote from Edward Nash because it just nails the difference. He said the old way, mass market advertising, was kind of like being a butcher, just hacking away and making a mess. But this new, data-driven model, it's like laser surgery. It's powerful, it's incredibly precise, and it's super effective. So how does this so-called laser surgery actually happen? Well, it really comes down to three simple parts. You've got the brain, which is the customer database. This is where all the knowledge lives. Then you have the voice, the personalized one-to-one way of talking. And finally, you need a scorecard, a way to measure the responses to see what's actually hitting the mark.
Let's start with the absolute core of this whole thing, the customer database. Seriously, this isn't just some boring spreadsheet. It's the brain of the entire operation. Everything starts here.
So, what is it really? It's basically a living, breathing history of your entire relationship with a brand. It knows what you've bought, sure, but it also knows what emails you've opened, what offers you've clicked on. It's what lets a company stop guessing and start actually understanding who you are and what you want. And that's the absolute first step to building a genuine relationship.
And this, right here, is the most important mindset shift. The old way was all about the next sale. Cha-ching! But this new model, it's not about that one transaction. The real goal is to use all that data to serve someone so well that they become a loyal customer for life. You're not just making a sale, you're creating a long-term asset for the company.
Okay, so we have the brain, the database. Now, how does that brain find its voice? This is the fun part, where data gets turned into messages that feel like they were written specifically for you.
Think about it this way. One-to-one marketing is the total opposite of a megaphone shouting at a crowd. It's a quiet, relevant conversation. It uses what it knows about you to give you offers and information that you might actually find useful. When that happens, it feels less like an annoying ad and more like a helpful suggestion, which is how you build trust.
And here's a perfect real-world example. This isn't just some junk mail sent to our neighbor. Nope, it's addressed directly to Stephanie Smith. But look closer. It even gives her a personalized website address to visit, a Pearl they call it. That's data in action, making a simple piece of mail feel exclusive and incredibly relevant.
So, we've got the brain and we've got the voice. But how does a business know if any of this is actually working? I mean, is it really paying off? That brings us to the scorecard, how we measure the true value of these customer relationships. You have to know about this metric. It's called Customer Lifetime Value, or CLTV, and it basically changes the entire game. Instead of obsessing over the profit from a single purchase,
Companies can now estimate the total profit they can expect from a single customer over years. This lets them make way smarter choices, like knowing it's worth it to spend a little more to get a great customer because the long-term payoff is going to be huge.
So, theories and definitions are great, but how does a company actually do this? How do they build that lifetime value? Let's check out the story of Peace Frogs, because it's a fantastic example of using these exact principles to build a really loyal community.
So it all started with a simple, cool t-shirt design. But they didn't just sell shirts. They built an entire vibe. They created this really memorable identity by using old VW vans for distribution. That wasn't just a delivery truck. It was a rolling billboard that perfectly captured their brand's personality. And they were smart. They went direct to their customers right away with a website and catalogs. This direct connection was everything. It let them build their brain, that database of fans, and use their voice to talk directly to them. That's how they built a community that turned a t-shirt idea into a multi-million-dollar company.
You know, the Peace Frog story really gives us a glimpse of where this is all going. We're moving towards a world where your experience as a customer is completely seamless, no matter how or where you shop.
The fancy term for this is omni-channel marketing, but the idea is pretty simple. It just means that whether you're in a real store, on your laptop, or on their mobile app, the experience feels connected and consistent. All those different channels are talking to each other, using that same central brain to know who you are and make things easier for you.
Think about a journey like this. Maybe you're flipping through a catalog at home. Later, you add something to your cart on the website from your laptop. Then you pop into a retail store to actually see it in person, and finally, you pull out your phone and buy it through their ad. In a true omni-channel world, the brand is with you every step of the way, making that whole process feel totally effortless.
And that, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question. This whole shift to super-personal, data-driven marketing is obviously incredibly powerful. It helps build amazing customer relationships and grow businesses, but there's a fine line, isn't there? The goal might be laser surgery, but one step too far and it stops feeling helpful and starts feeling, well, a little invasive. Finding that perfect balance is probably the single biggest challenge for anyone in this field today.